Okay, good evening, everyone. How are you doing today? Good evening, online. Good evening, online. Okay, so hope everyone are doing good. Abhis, lights up. Okay, let's jump on. What did we discuss in our last class? Pricing models. So, quick shootout. So yesterday we learned about the pricing models and then few things also, right? So let's start quickly. EC2 full form. Elastic Compute Cloud. So what's the definition of EC2? EC2 is a web service from AWS that provides resizable compute services in the cloud. So resizable meaning here what? Scale out, scale in, or scale up, scale down. EC2 is regional or global? Regional. So EC2, so what is the pricing model that we use? Pay as you go. Which one? Pay as you go model. How many hours are free per month? 750 hours. It is only for one machine, for mix all machines. All machines. And there are how many models are there? Pricing models? 7. And which is a pricing model which is fixed price on demand? And then in on demand, do you have any commitment, any upfront payment, any predictable usage? So where is commitment, upfront, predictable usage? Reserve instances. And how much discount that you get? Up to 72% discount. And how many types you have? 2 types. What are those? Standard and then convertible RI. In convertible RI, what's the discount percentage? At the moment, it is 66 and 72. Anytime AWS can increase or decrease the discounts or not? For now, it is. Okay, which is the pricing models related to bidding and auctioning? Spot instances. And then in the spot instances, can we lose the machines or not? But which is a cost-effective model? Spot. And can you keep your machines for a long time here? No. And then which is a pricing model if you want to have a dedicated machine? Dedicated host. So do you have control on the placements? Yes, we have the control on the placements. And what is that? If you want only dedicated instances and no worried about the hosts, then what it is said? Dedicated instances. Do you have control on the placements there? No. And then we have what? Capacity, reservation, and also we have last one year, savings plan. What is the tenancy that we are using? We will be using shared. So is it good to go for dedicated? No. And then also we discuss what is the instance type, which is the instance type that we should be using it. T2 micro. And how do you achieve scalability? By changing the instance type. So by changing the instance, but while changing the instance type, data is lost? No. But can you change the instance type while EC2 is running? No, you need to stop it. And then also we discuss about this. In the runtime, if you want to get the high performance for limited period of time, what concept is that? Burstable performance. Instead of burstable, now you call it as credit specification. What's that? Credit specification. That was we have. So that's what we have discussed in our last class. So today, let's move on to the next topic. Online, can you please confirm? Can you see my screen and can you hear me well? Go ahead, Sudhakar. So in pricing section, what is the control on instance placement dedicated host and what is no control on placement on dedicated host? Yesterday we learned this already, Sudhakar. Yes or no? What is the meaning of your placement? Control on the placements and no control on the placements. Host machine. Assume that for dedicated host, you have purchased how many? 3 dedicated hosts. Now, if you want to launch an EC2 instance, can you launch any one of this or not? That is, you can place the machine here also, here also, here also. So we have control on where you want to launch your EC2 instance. But whereas in dedicated instances, do you have control on this? No, you just need to launch. AWS will take care of the control. Okay, Sudha. Sure. How to manage the downtime if you're scaling? Okay, if critical application. So here, Kishore, I was telling about the concept of scalability, but did we talk about downtime there? No. So do you remember scalability? You cannot do it when the customers are using the machines. Yes or no? Because there will be a downtime or not. So if you don't want, if so, Kishore is asking about the applications. If it is applications, will you be having only two EC2 instances or multiple? Multiple. And if you have multiple EC2s, what you need to have in front of it? Load balancer. And automatically scale out, scale in happen. In that case, what is that? Auto scaling. So in this case, we are not focusing only on one EC2 instance. We have a concept coming in EC2 only, where we talk about more on auto scaling, where we no need to have any downtime. Without downtime, we can do the scalability. But for individual EC2 instances, obviously there will be a downtime. But if you don't want to have a downtime, keep the concept of high availability in your mind. Remember high availability. So at least you need to have minimum two. So if one server you're making it down, make sure the other server is up and running, and that should be served to your customer. From application point of view, Kishore, we will be going for the auto scaling concept, not individual machines. Kishore, okay? So Naveen, sir, at reserve instance, advance payment enta, sir. Okay. So how much do I need to do the advance payment for Pulsar bike? How much? What is that? Our wish, right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, 100%. If you want to pay 50,000 paid, no, EMI will be reduced. Here also, advance payment is also depend upon us, how much you want to pay. Okay. No, you're paying in advance, no? There is nothing risk in there. Don't compare with your Pulsar bike here. Okay. No, that's not. Yes, Kishore, redundancy modifier will come into picture. Sir, for suppose we have saving plan for EC2, then we can use. Uh, yes, you need to choose either of the plan. Lucky. Okay. Ah. Mm. Up to 72. AWS. He will decide. There should be some. Okay, so today let's move on to another important topic, which is called volumes. We already learned about EBS volumes, remember? So I've been writing a lot of, taking a lot of time to write on the paints, right? So what I did is I already have the paints written readily available now. So what I do is I'll try to explain, try to clear the concept. Okay, let's move. So let me ask few questions about EBS volume that we have learned in our overview section, right? EBS volumes. What is volume called? Hard disk. So, but from now onwards, we should not call it as hard disk. We should call it as what? Volumes. What is the default volume that you get? Root volume. How many steps are there to launch? 7 steps are there to launch an EC2 instance. And by default, you get what? Root volume. What are the rest of the volumes called? Additional volume. How many root volumes you can have? Only one. How many additional volumes you can have? Multiple. What is the maximum size of the volume? 16 terabyte. Volume size can be increased on fly? Yes. Can be decreased? You cannot decrease it. Remember all these things we have already learned. So we learned about what volumes are these? EBS volumes. What volumes are these? EBS volumes. Now, let us go one step above. Let us go one step above. So we have learned about EBS volume. If you go one step above, and by the way, what is the full form of EBS? Elastic block. What based storage is this? Block based storage. So if you go one step above, volumes are classified into two types. Volumes are classified into two types. Number one is the one which you have learned, EBS volume. Another one we call it as instant store volumes. Say that. In shortcut, ISV. What's that? So what are the two types? So volumes are classified into two types. What are those? EBS volume and then instance store volume. Online, please concentrate what I'm saying. Okay. Later I will write. First concentrate the topic. So volumes are classified into two types, EBS volume and then instance store volume. Instance store volume shortcut is ISV. So in EBS volume, EBS volumes are persistent storage. We call it as what? Persistent. What is the meaning of persistent? Permanent storage. What is the meaning of persistent meaning? Permanent. What is the meaning of permanent here is, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost? No. Why? Because it is stored in the EBS volume. What volume? EBS volume. The nature of EBS volume is, if you stop and start the EC2 instance also, data is not lost. It will be there until you delete it. It will be there. You have your laptop. If you restart, if you shut down and log into the laptop, your data is lost? No, those are block storage, right? So it is not. But coming to instance store volumes, those are not persistent storage. What is it called? Not persistent. What is the meaning of not persistent? Temporary. What is that? Temporary. So what is the meaning of temporary? Temporary meaning, if you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost. So those are called what volumes? Temporary volumes. And also you got an instance store volumes. Understood the difference between these two? So which are the persistent storage? EBS. Which are the temporary storage? Instance store volume. What is the maximum size of EBS volume? 16 terabyte. It is billable or not? Instance store volumes are free. Instance store volumes are completely free, right? So whenever someone say free, the first question that we get in your mind is, sir, how much free, sir? How much? 10 GB, 20, 100, 500. So guys, remember, so instance store volumes are free, but this free concept is completely managed by AWS. How? I'll tell you. I said instance store volumes are free. So whenever which is the instance type that we are using? Instance type T2 micro. So if you go for the bigger instance types, there are different, there are more than 1,000 instance types. So if you go for the different instance type, AWS by default attach this instance store volumes for free. Which one? For bigger instance type, not for T2 micro, small, medium. No. If you go for bigger instance type, AWS will, when you launch the EC2 instance, AWS will attach additionally this instance store volume like D drive, E drive, automatically will be attached. How much? Depend upon AWS. For some time he'll give 5,000 GB, sometimes 2,000 GB, sometimes 500 GB. It's purely depend upon AWS. Right? So instance store volumes are free or billable? It's free. And there is also another name of instance store volume, and we call it as, read it. I know you'll say imperial blue. What is this? What is this pronounced as? Ephemeral storage. What is that? Ephemeral storage. Say that, everyone. Ephemeral storage. So what is another name of instance store volumes? Ephemeral storage. Is it clear? Is it clear till here? Quickly I'm asking. Okay. So volumes are classified into two types. What are those? EBS volume and then instance store volume. So EBS volumes are persistent, not persistent. Persistent storage. If you stop and start, data is lost? Not lost. What is the maximum size of EBS volume? 16. EBS billable or free? Billable. Coming to the next one. Which one is the next one? Instance store volumes. Instance store volumes are persistent, not persistent? Not persistent. That meaning temporary volume. If you stop and start the EC2 instance, data is lost or not? Data is lost. So instance store volumes are free or billable? Free. What is another name of instance store volumes? Whichever you want, you can take it. Okay. Ephemeral storage. Okay. So, okay. So to save this time, I wrote this already for you. Okay. Clear? This one is clear here. I already wrote. So volumes are classified into two types. So here EBS volume, instance store volume. So here we call it as Persistent storage, here we call it as not persistent. If you stop inside EC2 data is not lost. Here, if we stop inside data is lost. EBS volume maximum size 16 terabyte. Volumes are billable. Here, instance store volumes are free. What's the another name? Ephemeral storage. Clear na? You can take later. Got it? We cannot define, no? AWS take care of it. So do we have any maximum size of the instance or volume? Do we know? Because AWS will take care of it. So we don't know how much AWS is providing for us. Okay, fine. Anna. Now let us take little bit more about EBS volume. Let us go deeper into EBS volume. So there are different types of EBS volume. There are different types. Generally, don't say root volume and additional volume. That is EBS volumes only. But here there are different types of EBS volume. So those are number one. You need to repeat with me. Very important. Do I need to inject in your brains or not? So listen carefully. Number one, we call it as general purpose. Say that. Provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. There are 5 types. Number one, again, general purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. One more time. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. Last time you tell me. Yeah. General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. Okay. So there are 5 types are there. So let's say if you want to go and launch an EC2 instance and if you want to use the volumes for normal, for general purpose. So we'll go for which one, which type? General purpose. For in general purpose also, there are 2 types, Nana. GP2, GP3. Say that. GP meaning general purpose. GP2, GP3. In provisioned IOPS, we call it as, there are 2 types are there. IO1, IO2. Say that. IOPS meaning here input output per second. What's that? So provisioned IOPS, in provisioned IOPS and this general purpose and then provisioned IOPS. These 2 are SSD volumes. What volume? Have you heard about SSD? Which one is faster? HDD or SSD? SSD, no? Right? So all your phones, laptops, everything is based on SSD. What's the full form of SSD? Solid state drive or disk. So general purpose and provisioned IOPS, these 2 are which type? SSD. Rest are all HDD. What are the rest? Throughput, cold, magnet. These 3 are what type, Nana? HDD. Now you tell me which one are faster volumes? General purpose, provisioned IOPS. Super. In general purpose, how we have 2 types. What are those? GP2, GP3. In provisioned IOPS, IO1, IO2. So if you want to use a normal, very nice volumes, go with GP2 or GP3, general purpose family. If you want to have extreme high performance, go with which one? IOPS, provisioned IOPS. IOPS, full form. Input, output per second. Input, output per second. That meaning, see, like input out mean obviously when you're writing the data inside the volume, it will go and written in the hard disk, no, in the backend. The pointer will be there, no? So how much input output you increase? Like, input output. So you are putting the data inside it and then retrieving it. How much fast it is, that much performance you will get or not? Input to output per second. Per second, how many inputs output that you need? If you increase input and output, you will get super high performance or not? Like karate, like this. How many punches you can do in 1 second? Fast, right? So that meaning here, input output per second meaning here, guys, if you give the number, let's say 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, like this maximum 80,000. How much number that you give IOPS values, that much performance you will get it. Yes or no? that much performance you will get. So IOPS values are configured for which type of provisioned IOPS. In provisioned IOPS, how many types we have? 2 types. What are those? IO1, IO2. This provisioned IOPS, you need to mention the values. What values are those? IOPS values. What values are those? IOPS values. How much? Your wish. 1000. If you keep on increasing the number of IOPS values, your performance also will increase and bill also increase. And also bill. So you will get the high performance and also you get the high bill. But whenever you want to have a good performance, so there is a difference between with the normal Splendor bike and then Pulsar bike. Yes or no? Yes or no? So here Pulsar bike revolution per second will be more speed, more power. Similarly here, provisioned IOPS also, if you give the IOPS numbers high, the performance will also go high, and also you will get more bill. Which one is costlier, Pulsar or Splendor? Pulsar, because more power. Yes, our speed, right? Super. Okay. You understand what I'm saying, guys? And coming to throughput, Nana. Throughput, we call it as shortcut ST1. Say that. Cold, we call it as SC1. SC1. And magnetic, we call it as standard. What's that? These are all codes for it. So we have, again, please with me. See here. What is the first one? General purpose. In general purpose, how many types we have? 2 types. What are those? GP2, GP3. Next we have provisioned IOPS. What are the types we have? IO1, IO2. Next one is throughput. What's the code for it? ST1. And cold, SC1. Magnetic, standard. Now let's sing a song now. Let's sing a song. So now it is not Gajala, not that. So okay. So because remembering these different types of EBS volumes are difficult now, right? So let us sing a song that you can easily remember this. Okay. So first I'll sing, then you repeat it. Okay. Okay. What's wrong, dude? So I'm singing song. You guys are right? Do you see? Can I see my screen? Online? I'm not writing. I'm explaining the topic first. See Sudha, these guys. Okay. Mood. Yeah. Fine. So sing song meaning I'm not singing any song here. Okay. See, listen with me. So we have different types of volumes, right? So listen like this. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Again, GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. One more time. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. You repeat. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Last time. GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SC1, standard. Remember all? Huh? Perfect. That's it. What you recorded or what my song? Huh? Don't record, huh? Okay, fine. So you understand these are the different types of volumes, right? So can you tell me again here? General purpose. In general purpose, we have GP2, GP3. In provisioned IOPS, we have IO1, IO2. And throughput, ST1, cold, SE1, magnetic, standard. Very good. Which one are SSD volumes? General purpose, provision. That meaning GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2. These are what? SSD. Rest are all HDD. What are rest meaning? ST1, SE1, standard meaning rest. Those are all HDD. Which one are super high performance? High performance. IO1 and then IO2. Which one? IO1 and then IO2 are high performance. So if you keep on increasing, the IOPS values, performance also increase, bill also will increase. But the question here is, which volume supports IOPS values? Which volume supports IOPS values? IO1, no, IO2, but GP3 also support. Which one? GP3 also. So the question here is, which volumes we can mention or we IOPS configurable? Which volumes are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, GP3. Certification question. Which volumes are IOPS configurable? Tell me. IO1, IO2, GP3. IO1, IO2, GP3, these three are IOPS configurable. Configurable meaning we need to mention the IOPS values. How much? Your wish. 1,000, 2,000, maximum how much? 80,000. These volumes are IOPS configurable. Sir, coming to GP2. Sir, how about GP2? Guys, GP2, by default, AWS is giving 1:3 ratio. What ratio? If you create 1 GB volume, automatically AWS is giving how many IOPS? 3 IOPS, 1:3. If you have 10 GB, then 30. If you have 100 GB, 300. So like this, so 1:3 ratio, automatically you will get IOPS values for which one? GP2. So GP2 has a default IOPS values or not? How much ratio? 1:3. And which volumes are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, and then GP3. Is it clear this year? Don't worry. So many things, but if I ask the questions, everything you remember. Now, what is the default volume that we get? Root volume. And that root volume should be one of this type or not? Right? So what is the default volume? Root volume, which type? For Linux, it is GP3. For Windows, it is GP2. For Linux, it is GP3. For Windows, it is GP2. So if I ask a question now, so what is the default volume type for Windows? GP2. What is the default volume type for Linux? GP3. And another question, root volume support which volume types? Root volume supports which volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. Which is missing now? ST1, ST1. So for root volumes, we can have only these volume types. Which one? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. Does it support ST1, ST1? The question for you is, does the root volume support ST1, ST1? No. What are the volume types that root volume supports? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. Sir, how about additional volume? Additional volume supports all. Additional volume support all. Is this clear? Online, you're getting it? Don't worry, I'll write everything. Try to understand first. ST1, SE1 will not support. ST1, SE1, first of all, those are SSD or HDD. First of all, there itself will fail because root volume meaning it's operating system. So it should be faster or not. So which one it supports then? Yes, well, the first SSD volumes, right? That's why. And ST1, SE1, one is this one is frequently accessed. But if you want to have cheaper, cheaper amount, so you should not pay more than go for ST1, SE1. But for root volumes type, always you should go for SSD because it should be faster for you. Okay. Standard is also, but that is previous generation volume. Which one? Previous generation. It is highly not recommended to use magnetic. But when I was using, right? When I say few years back, don't think I'm very old, okay? Old generation, not old generation, right? Meaning, let's say 10 years back. So 10 years, was 10 years back when I was using this AWS, right? So at that time, these many different types were not there. Only magnetic was there, right? Slowly AWS has enhanced his features, right? That's why they came out different types of volumes. So that's why magnetic is called as previous generation, your generation. Okay, so is this clear, guys, everyone? And another one important thing, see here. One volume can be attached to multiple machines at the same time? No. Remember on those days, I put star mark. Remember, I put as a star mark. Yes or no? What I told, Remember this, we'll talk later, I said. Now time has come. Now I'm telling, yes, one volume can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time, but not all volumes. Not all volumes. Those volumes are IO1, IO2. IO1, IO2 volumes can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. How many EC2 instances you can attach? Maximum 16. How many? So one IO1 volume or one IO2 volume can be attached to how many EC2 instances at the same time? 16. But on that day, I didn't say no because I need to explain about types. 16, 16 meaning 16. Clear, Nana? Is it clear about the EVS different types? Now, you think that it is heavy. Now, let me ask all the question whether you can answer it or not. Okay, let's do magic now. Online, everyone put in the chat. So, there are different types of volumes, correct? Can you list the names of the volumes? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, and throughput, cold, and then magnetic. Fine. So can you give me the shortcutness of it? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. Which volume types are SSD? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, and rest are all HDD. Which volumes are used for general purpose? GP2 or GP3. Okay, for Windows, what is the default? GP2. For Linux, GP3. What's the full form of IOPS? Input output per second. Which volumes are IOPS configurable? IO1, IO2, GP3. Does the GPT is IOPS configurable? No. So what AWS, how much ratio it is giving? 1:3 ratio. And root volume support which volume types? GP2, GP3, IO1, IO2, standard. Does the root volume support ST1, SC1? No. Additional volume supports all type. And which volume types can be multi-attached? IO1, IO2. How many EC2 instance? Answer da. These are all interview and certification questions. So, nice, no? You can save the time, right? And learn more. Okay? See you, Nana. Okay, types of volume. Can you tell me what are those? General purpose, provisioned IOPS, throughput, cold, magnetic. Very good. Shortcuts, GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, ST1, SE1, standard. So which one are SSD? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2. Rest are all HDD. Which one is for high performance? I1, IO2. General purpose is general purpose. Previous generation one is standard. So full form of SSD, solid state drive, which is faster. Hard disk drive is slower. What's the full form of IOPS? What is the default volume type for Windows? Linux. So which one are IOPS configurable? The more IOPS that you give, you get more performance and will also. GP2 has a default IOPS. What is the ratio? So for 1 GB, how many IOPS? Is it configurable? No. And root volume support which volume types? GP2, GP3, I1, IO2, standard. Does the root volume support ST1, SC1? No. Additional volume support? All type. Which one can be multi-attached? How many machines? Clear? People feel that this is the most difficult topic. Easy for you or not? Online is clear, Nana? Online, clear? There's a question. But EBS volume not attached to multi. Yes, I told that before. EBS volumes cannot be multi-attached. But I said on that day, put the star mark. That meaning, yes, it can be. See, generally, whenever someone asks you, is EBS volumes are multi-attached, you should say no. And then you say that there is a type called IO1, IO2 that can be multi-attached, but rest are all not multi-attached. Super. Very good. So, okay, Nana. So I'm asking one certification question for you. I'm asking one certification question for you. Listen carefully and answer. Yes, Moin, correct. If you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volumes are deleted or not? What is your answer? I'm asking the question again. So if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume is deleted or not? Answer is no or yes, sir. Which one? Oh, which one? Tell me answer. You said no, right? Okay, I'll make you to answer. I have launched EC2 instances here. Don't worry about the size, okay? How many are there? For every EC2 instance, volumes will be there or not? What volumes are these? So you have launched 5 EC2 instances, automatically root volume came. And then what you did, you worked on the 5 EC2 instances. Your job is done. Your work is done. Now what you did? You terminated the machines. If you terminated the machines, root volume will be deleted or not? You said no. You said no. Huh? So exactly, guys, remember, if you terminate the EC2 instances, by default, root volume will be deleted. Another question, right? So what are the rest of the volumes what called? Additional volume. If you terminate the EC2 instance, additional volume will be deleted or not? Answer is no. Answer is no. I'll tell you the reason. What does the root volume contain? Operating system. What does additional volume contain? Data. So will you keep the data in root volume? Will you keep the data in root volume? Don't keep it. Because if you keep it just in case, in your laptops also, will you keep the data in C drive or D drive? D drive, why? Pusuku, if that operating system crash, your data is gone or not? And also, if you're putting the data in C drive, unnecessarily you're putting the stress on the operating system. That's why your laptop performance will go slow. For that reason, always put your data in which drive? D drive. Just in case your laptop crash also, D drive data can be restored. For that reason, here in the EC2 instance also, root volume contains only what? OS, operating system, and and additional volume contains the data. So whenever you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volumes also will be deleted. So if you say no, and how many volumes will be retained for me? 5. What will I do with it? Can I do anything with that? That's the reason why if you terminate the EC2 instance, automatically your root volumes will be deleted. Why? There is another reason here. So guys, remember, there is a small, there is a feature called delete on termination. Say that. Delete on termination is enabled. What is the meaning of delete on termination? Delete on termination. So whenever you're launching the EC2 instance, for the root volume, the option is there. What is that option? Delete on termination. If you terminate the EC2 instance, automatically your root volume is deleted. Delete on termination is enabled or disabled? Enabled. Delete on termination is enabled. That's why when it terminated, it is getting deleted. So for the root volume, guys, for the root volume, delete on termination is enabled or disabled? Enabled. For additional volume, that's the reason why it is not deleting. Let's say if the interviewer asks you, no, I want my root volume not to be deleted, what will you do? Disable it. No, while launching the EC2 instance, root volume termination, what is delete on termination, go and disable it. So if you terminate the EC2 instance, root volume will be deleted now? No. So it is all about that option. What is that option? Delete on termination. Delete on termination. Is it clear? Online is clear now, everyone? Harish, what is that? What is the default EBS volume path? That meaning? Volume path. There is no, if you're asking about the device name, you know, right? What's the root volume device name? /dev/SDA1. That's a device name. We don't have any path. So whenever you log into the EC2 instance, automatically you will go inside the desktop only. Like how you have your laptop. Desktop is nothing but C drive only or not? Hmm. Avinash, sir, can we choose? Can we also choose if we need EBS or ISV while launching EC2 for root volume? Okay, now tell me. I told you which one is preferred, EBS volume or instance store volumes? EBS volume. And instance store volume, can we create it? Answer is no. Avinash, we cannot create it. So whenever you're selecting the bigger instance type, automatically AWS will provide you the instance store volumes. Can we create it? We cannot create it, but I'm putting one star mark here. We'll talk on this in the practicals. So for now, please remember 99% you cannot create instance store volumes, right? But Avinash, yes, for you, we can choose the root volume should be always which type? EBS or instance store volume? EBS, but we can say we can use ISV also. We can use ISV also, but it's good to use ISV for root volume. If you, okay, now tell me, I want to ask you one thing here. Huh? Correct. Now question for you. See, this is the EC2 instance, okay? And you have EBS volume. Can you stop and start this machine? Yes, we can stop and start. And data is lost? No. You have launched another EC2 instance, and the root volume is, this one is EBS, and this one is ISV. What does the root volume contain? OS. Here also OS. On this machine, I can stop also, I can start also. Data is lost? No. But here, can you stop? What do you say? It should be always running. Can you stop it? GT, can you stop it? You cannot stop this machine. You can only terminate it. So if you have the root volume with ISV, you cannot stop it. You can only terminate. But yes, root volumes can also have the ISV, but make sure that you cannot stop. You can only terminate. Because if you stop, entire operating system is gone, no? Certification question. Don't worry, we'll write all these things here. He can. C drive, D drive. C drive is EBS volume. D drive is ISV. Can you move the data? Like how you are moving from C drive to D drive. ISV, when ISVs are used, ISV is meaning what? Temporary volumes or permanent volumes? Now you have temporary, right? There is something called temporary space, which for what purpose you use? Temporary purpose. You have some data which is not used much. Go and put it there. Glacier is different. Don't get the glacier at all here. So guys, okay, let's say for example, now one EC2 instance you have launched. This is EBS volume. Can you have instance store volume here? Yes. So this is EBS. This is instance store volume. Okay. Now you have logged into the machine. Someone gave movies for you to watch. Tell me, where do you put? Movies you put here. If you push stop and start also, doesn't any matter here? Movies are getting deleted. No problem. But here it is only 30 GB you have. Will you put the movies here? Why did you choose ISV then? That is a purpose. Okay, temporary purpose. It can be not only movies, it can be any files which can be used for temporary purpose, for caching purpose, for calculating purpose, for processing the data. But remember, and many people will think, sir, ISV volumes are free. No, I go and I'll have ISV volumes. I put the data inside it. Free, no. I will not stop the machine. But Pusuk, someone stop the machine, all your data is gone. So remember, guys, if AWS say that is temporary, that is temporary. Don't play with it. Is that clear? Online, guys, is it clear now till here? So this is what I have wrote here. Okay, see here. if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, root volume will also deleted, because what option is enabled? Delete on termination is enabled. So if you terminate the EC2 instance, by default, additional volumes will not be deleted, because delete on termination is disabled. And based on the instance type that you select, mostly which instance type? Big instance type, you will get the instance store volumes attached automatically by AWS for free. And also I'll write here, we can have EC2 instance root volume as ISV, but these EC2 instances cannot be stopped. It can only be terminated. Okay, now, guys, is this clear till here, everyone? Super. Yes. Okay. Nice. I'll tell you one small. Okay. Now we have EBS volumes. EBS volumes. If you stop and start, data is lost. No. If you reboot, data is lost. No. Instance store volumes. If you stop and start, data is lost. Data is lost. Yes. If you reboot, data is lost. Data is. But I'm saying data is not lost. Data is not lost. Not lost. Okay. Let's move to the next topic. Sir, you calcified. You're not. So data is not lost. Now the next question should be, sir, why? What's that? Reason is why? Why it is not lost? So guys, you will understand. Avinash, see here. You want to know this? Yes or no? You want to know or not? So if you want to know, guys, we need to. The question here is, if you stop and start the EC2 instance which has instance store volume, data is lost. But if you reboot, data is not lost. Why? In order to know this, you need to know a little bit on the backend, how AWS is handling in the backend. Should I tell you about that quickly? So this is also an additional topic for you, which is not in the syllabus, but I just wanted to give more information for you. Okay, see. Okay, so let's take this. See here. Do you remember host machine? So this is one host machine and this is another host machine. Host machines are managed by AWS. Host machines are managed by AWS. So in the host machine, what is there on the bottom? Hardware, on top of it, hypervisor, on top of it, EC2 instance. And hardware meaning it has a hard disk or not? Okay. So I'll take two host machines now. I'll take two host machines. Fine. Now you launch one EC2 instance. You have launched one EC2 instance. And what volume it has? Root volume. Root volume is not even EBS volume. It has a EBS volume. What is the full form of EBS? Elastic block storage. It's a central storage or not? So somewhere AWS has a central storage. You are creating a volume and then you are attaching to the EC2 instance. Yes or no? So here you created a volume and then what you did, you attached to here to the EC2 instance. Yes or no? Root volumes will come by default, but additional volume will create and attach. No. So root volumes also will be created automatically in EBS and then attached over here. So, you know, AWS has one strategy. What it does is, I'll tell you here differences. And then IS. How it will behave. So, Nana, if in EBS, whenever, not only in EBS, generally, whenever you stop and start the EC2 instance, the concept here is jump. What's that? EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. When? If you stop and start. If you stop and start, what will happen? EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. Okay. So I'm writing here stop and start. Jumpa, no jumpa. Jump. Okay, now it is jump. See, now EC2 instance has jumped from here to another host. Now EC2 instance jumped. How about the volume? Volume is on this host machine. Now volume is centrally located. Centrally. So if the EC2 has jumped from this to here, the pointer will change to just here. Yes or no? Data is lost here? No. So if you stop and start, data is not lost. That is what we have learned. In EBS volumes, if you stop and start the EC2, data is lost. Not lost. Okay. Now we have another concept called reboot. What is it? Reboot, no jump. Whenever you reboot the EC2 instance, it will not be jump. It will be sitting on the same host machine. Now tell me, if you reboot, the machine will be sitting on the same host machine and the pointer is also same here. Data is lost. Data is not lost. That is what we have learned. Data is not lost. Coming to here. Which one? To the ISV. If you start and stop, jumpa, no jumpa? Jump. Now tell me guys. Now ISV meaning this EC2 instance is, we have launched EC2 instance and we have the volume. When you selected ISV volume, the ISV volume meaning a local hard disk will be attached. It is not EBS, no. It is what? ISV. ISV meaning, so a local hard disk will be attached to the EC2 instance as a volume from the local machine. So AWS, in this host machine, AWS might be having thousands of GB data. So little bit GB AWS is assigning to this EC2 instance. When, if you selected which one? ISV. Will you select here? ISV. Okay, now, if you stop and start, what will happen? Jumpa, no jumpa? Jump. Start and stop. Stop and start. Jumpa, no jumpa? Jump. So this EC2 instance will jump from one host to another host. When it jumps, EC2 instance jumped, but physical hard disk will jump. So that means data is lost or not lost? That is what we have learned. In ISV, if you stop and start, data is lost. But I told you, reboot, jumpa, no jumpa? No jump. Let's see what is happening. So if you reboot, the EC2 instance will be sitting on the same machine or not? If the sitting on the same machine, same hard disk will be still connected or not? So if you reboot, data is lost. That is the reason. Data is not lost. You understand? Understood the logic? So this is, and I'm telling you, you don't get all these things in any YouTube and Udemy's and all, because this is purely based on my real-time experience. We are telling here. Okay, now tell me, I'll give you one small example. So you have one EC2 instance, AWS has sent a mail to you. Hey, your EC2 instance will be stopped automatically on Saturday because of the maintenance. Because of the maintenance. What will you do now? EBS only. What do you do? Stop and start. If you stop and start, what will happen? Jump. So do you see this? AWS is telling, Babu, on this host machine, we are doing some maintenance. As you have the EC2 instance here, this EC2 instance also will be stopped. This will be under maintenance. So what will you do? Slowly, when you're free time, sweet time, stop and start. What will happen? Jump. It will jump. So this machine will be in maintenance now? No. So your EC2 instance will not be in maintenance anymore. All these things are based on my experience, I'm telling. So we used to do this because in real time, what will happen is, in real time, you have database machines. AWS will say that on Wednesday at afternoon, this time, the machine will be stopped. Array, Wednesday afternoon, it's a peak time for my customer. Will you wait for that? Now what I do, I'll send an email to customer on Sunday, it will be down for 5 minutes. So I'll stop and start, it will not be in that maintenance. Because if you know the concept of jump, no jump, then only you can do all these things. Otherwise, no. Will anyone tell you all these things? Generally, no. Is it clear, guys, online? Sure, real time Guruji. Yes, yeah. No. Shared only. So we are not talking about dedicated host here. So remember, dedicated host we will never use in our course. Okay. In your real time also, 90% of the people, companies, they'll go with the tenancy as shared, not dedicated. But if your company is very confidential and if you don't want to share that anything, the host machine to others, then go for dedicated host. In that concept will be completely different. Okay. The question, Sudhakar, why is jumping when it is stop and start? Any reason? It likes to be jumping. Sudhakar, that is a concept that AWS is using. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When whenever you stop, your application also will stop. No. Hmm. Run out. Oh, పొడుగుతున్నావా AWS ని? Okay. Okay, let me take a couple of questions here. Sir, when we have only one host machine, then how it is possible? How come it will be one host machine in the backend? Avinash, right? In the backend, AWS has one host machine or hundreds, thousands of machines. Oh, so many. Don't worry about that. So, okay, that is the reason when status check fail only. Yes, exactly, Lucky. Exactly. Okay. Now, what we do is we will be going and launching. Okay. By the way, when you terminate, what will happen? Data is there is no compromise there. Wherever you go, if you terminate, data is lost. Okay. Now we have something called whenever we launch the EC2 instance, guys. Whenever we launch the EC2 instance, whenever we launch the EC2 instance, we will be clicking launch instance. But who will make us to launch machine? AWS. Yes or no? So AWS will help us to launch an EC2 instance. So it is AWS responsibility to make our EC2 instance up and running or not? Yes or no? For that reason, AWS is doing two checks. We call it as status check. What is that? We do AWS will do two status check. Instance status check, system status check. Say that one more time. Instance status check. How many status checks are there? Two. What are those? Instance status check, system. Instance status check will check the hardware, whether virtual machine got clearly launched or not. System status check will check the software, whether IP address, operate everything properly setting up or not. Now tell me, if any of this machine, of any of this status check is failed, can you log into the machine? Can you log into the machine? No. Yes or no? You cannot. Yes, Lucky. So there is also newly came one more status check. They will go with the EBS volume status check. What is that? Generally, we have only two, but sometimes AWS will give you three. One is instance status check. Second one, system status check. Third one, EBS volume status check. EBS volume properly attached or not, you will check. Okay. If any of the status check failed, can you log into the machine? No. If the hardware fails, you cannot. If the software fails, you cannot. If EBS volume fails, you cannot. Okay, now let's see. You tell me carefully the answer here now. I launched the TC2 instance, but I got you should get 2/2 checks passed or you should get 1/2 checks passed. 2/2. 2/2 checks are passed, then only you can log into the machine. If you get 1/2 or 0/2, can you log into the machine? Oh no. So now you have launched the EC2 instance. Pusuku, you got 1/2 or 0/2. What will you do now? What will you do? Hmm. What will you do? What will you do? Huh? Reload the page. See, guys, Raghavendra Singh troubleshooter. Why did you? Okay, so scan the image. Guys, no need. If you get whenever you launch the EC2 instance, it is AWS responsibility to do the checks, and it is AWS responsibility to make your EC2 instance up and running. Yes or no? So somehow you launch the EC2 instance, somehow in the backend, the host machine was not good. That's the reason your EC2 instance did not launch properly. And that's the reason why you got 1/2 or 0/2. And simply what will you do for this to resolve this? Do not terminate. Many people say, sir, terminate the machine and launch new one. No. What if I have data inside it? Huh? If I have data inside, there might be database server. I stopped for today. Tomorrow I started and I got pushed 1/2. Can I terminate it? No. Then, so guys, simply stop and start. What's that? What will happen? Stop and start. Jumpa, no jumpa. If you jump, this is healthy host machine, so it will be work or not. People doesn't know this. So in one of my team, not in my team, in other, when I was consultant, they literally they took the backup of the entire things before, and then they terminate the machine, they launch and set up everything. What is this? Right? So what you need to do, simply stop and start. If you stop and start, machine will again will boot it, and then you will get 2/2 checks are passed. You can log into machine. That's the reason. Most of the real-time people doesn't know the logics now at the moment. Experienced people. I'm not telling anything to experienced people, but experienced people doesn't have time to learn. Like you. Experienced people, they already have some project and they're already working. If they got a task that, hey, launch this machine, what they do? They go to YouTube or ChatGPT. Hey, Chatu, give me the step. And he will give the steps. Click, 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 click. Task done. If something goes wrong, they start troubleshooting it. Yes or no? Online. Experienced people. They don't have, see, everyone agree. Experienced people, see. I'm telling you proudly and confidently that most of the experienced people doesn't have even the knowledge that you have. They have less knowledge. You can call her up. Yes, sir, students. 100%. And let's see, next, we already did last Sunday, screen test happened, no? Since so many years, top 10 are Reyaz students only. This year also will come Reyaz students only. Right? Because paper, don't think I didn't set the paper, okay? Okay. Fine. So is this clear, Nana? So how many status checks are there? Total 3. Initially 2, total 3. So okay, see, status check. How many status check? 2. What are those? Instance status check, system status check. Instance check will check the hardware, system check with the software. And you should get how many checks? 2/2 checks are passed, then only you can log into the EC2 instance. If you get 1/2 or 0/2, can you log into the machine? No. What you need to do? Stop and start. So don't terminate the EC2 instance when you get 1/2. Simply what you need to do? And also AWS came up recently one more check. What check is that? ABS status check. Clear? Instead of me writing, I'm spending more time on explaining you. You will get more points. Writing, huh? Understood? Okay. I want to ask you one question here. Which one is faster? Think and answer. The first thing that you get in your mind is wrong answer. Remember, huh? Which one is faster? eBase volume or instance store volumes? నేనేం చెప్ತೀನಿ? What did I say? The first thing that you get in your mind is a wrong answer. I said or no? What the first thing that you got? And so the correct match is right. So nice. So pyara samajh gaya. Okay. So tell me, which one is faster? You change it now. Huh? So guys, ISV is faster. Why? Okay. Now tell me the reason why. Huh? Okay. You have EC2 instance. You have eBase volume. eBase volume is somewhere centrally located or not? So it has to get the data from somewhere through the network. Through the network. Instance store volume is, I mean, niche, right? So instance store volume is what do you call? Below the EC2 instance host machine, yes or no? So here, do you see this? Here, this is nearby and it is local, right? Whereas this is remote. This is local. So now which one is having good performance? ISV having very good performance compared to EBS because it's network attached. This is locally attached. Technically, this is a certification question. Many people will give the wrong answer, which is called EBS volume. But actually, technical thing here is, which one is faster? ISV. But is good to use? Remember, but you can use it, but if it is temporary, but don't use it. So don't use it. Okay. Sudhakar, eBay me having CloudFront. No, don't get the CloudFront at all here. Okay. Don't get CloudFront at all. Okay. So eBay's volumes are network attached drives with good but limited performance. If you need high performance hardware disk, then use ISV, but risk of data loss. Yes or no? So, and who need to take care of the data inside it? Customer only. Yes or no? Does AWS will take care of the data? Does AWS has access inside the EC2 instance? Whatever the movies that you're putting in the C drive, does AWS know? Take care. Okay. Is it clear? I'll stop it here. Clear, Nana? Super. Any questions? Hmm. Hmm. When you launch the EC, okay, let me add one more thing here. Hold on, guys. When you launch an EC2 instance, there are 6 states. How many states are there? 6 states. 6 instance states. We call, whenever you launch EC2 instance, the status will be pending and then running. Whenever launch EC2 instance, pending, running. Whenever you stop EC2 instance, stopping, stopped. So whenever you terminate the EC2 instance, terminating, shutting down, and then terminated. So this is the 6 states that you should remember. So if you are lazy to remember, I'll inject in your brain. See. How many states, instance states are there? 6 states. So say with me. Pending, running, stopping, stopped, shutting down, terminated. One more time. Pending, running, stopping, stopped, shutting down, terminated. One more time. Pending, running, stopping, stopped, shutting down, terminated. Now question for you. Whenever you launch or start the EC2 instance, what's the status that you get? Pending. First it will come pending. After a couple of seconds, it will go to the running. Whenever you stop the EC2 instance, initially what you get? Stopping. After a few seconds, stopped. When you terminate the EC2 instance, what is status you get? Shutting down for seconds. After that, terminated. This is the status. Okay. Super. Okay. Any questions? Otherwise, take the screenshots. Mm. Yeah. Any questions meanwhile? Okay. Mm. Mm. Someone asked, what about reboot, sir? So here, if you reboot, tell me, reboot for rebooting, rebooted. no change. It will be running only. This one actually I used to make this in what do you call in the lab, but I already told you now, no problem. Clear? The second one only. Okay, fine. Any other questions? Sir, any other real IM? No, that is fine. Whatever I said is fine. Okay. Classroom not being updated. Why? It's updated, no? What you are expecting? Pains. Let's wait until this EC2 complaint. I'll not be updating one by one. Let's have few days and then I'll upload. Okay. Srinivas is asking, whenever you reboot, data is not lost. Why? That is the entire half an hour I explained that. Srinivas. Okay, so go with this brain. How the action stop and start, make sure the TC2 instance will be moved to another. So do you need to worry about that? In the backend, it is jumpa, no jumpa, which host machine, which where it went, no need to worry. But I just said it is happening on the backend. I'm just telling you those things. Okay, super. So that is all. Can you give the final CC for today? Super. So that is all for today. Let's connect tomorrow with the next powerful topic. Until then, take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Good night. Bye.